Hi, this is Caitlin.
And this is Gabry.
Welcome back to AvengeGirls and Friends.
And today we're gonna talk about Age of Ultron, or really, Caitlin and her siblings are gonna talk about Age of Ultron, and I'm going to complain a lot. There will be like very little actual insight from me today, not least because I had a lot of trouble finding this movie to watch, and so it was bad, y'all. It was bad.
She's using her, amazing memory and the plot summary on Wiki just in case.
God bless the internet.
But
All right.
honestly, I think the most important thing about this movie is something that we can never forget, and that it's BruceNat is bad.
Hashtag never forget.
It's
Um,
terrible.
I think the worst part of it is that it came out of nowhere.
Hmm?
At least it felt like it came out of nowhere for me.
100%, yeah.
Maybe other people with like more insight into the comics or like social cues or something else like would be able to pick up on it. But like, listen, y'all, no.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think anyone could pick up on it. I think Joss Whedon was just like, you know what we need here? We need someone to fall on someone's boobs, and then we'll make a romance out of that.
That is not how that works.
I think that's how Joss Whedon's writing
Oh
works.
Lord. Okay, because I had honestly forgotten
That happened.
that any of it that it was this movie that the romance happened in
Yep.
until I got to the scene at the party where Natasha's
Ugh.
behind the bar and I was like, "Oh no, this is the annoying romance movie." But like I mean
You're not
there are,
wrong.
I shouldn't like totally like hate on it. There are a couple relatable things about it.
That's sweet.
Because I am Banner in that flirting situation. Like I
Yeah.
will 100% play along and be like, "Oh, this is," and I will not realize that it has gone to a real place
You're
like
like,
ever
wait a minute.
because that doesn't actually happen. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like, "Oh," and it has to be pointed out later.
You're like, oh, there's flirting going on here, and I don't
I'll,
know how to do that.
yeah, the line between banter and flirting is not obvious to me.
Oh no, yeah, I banter all the
It's
time,
bad.
and I'm sure plenty of people have been like, flirting, and I'm like, no,
Not even sort of.
absolutely not. Anyways, Bruce Nat, bad. That's what we were
BruceNat
talking about.
betrayal. Second betrayal.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, obviously, we were talking about in all these past episodes about how we like Clint Nat, or Clint Tasha, I think is the correct like name
Yeah.
or whatever. But even besides that, it completely it comes out of nowhere. Both Bruce Nat and, as you call it, Clint's farm family,
Farm Family.
just
I can't
like
be the only one that said that.
so
I think I read that somewhere.
random. And what I wrote in my notes is that I feel like this movie and all this stuff could have worked if there was another Avengers movie before that set up all of these things. Like, it seems like we're missing like a whole movie or like a TV series or something in between Avengers 1 and this movie.
You're right. We're missing a lot of
We're missing so
characterization
much.
things that would have
Yep,
set up the believability of this.
yep.
I think you're right.
It's not only Clint's farm family or Bruce Nat, it's also like the last we see of Tony, he was like, "Oh, I am Iron Man, even though I don't have any of these, other suits around me, and it's just me and the Iron Man suit and Pepper, and we're gonna make a happy family or whatever." And then this one, he's like, "Send in the Iron Legion," and suddenly he has like a bunch, like, what? What?
Okay, can you
What?
imagine he must have been working like a maniac then
Yeah,
because
like
he got rid of all of them and he has how many now?
way more than
Who's
he had
to
last
say?
time. It
Yes.
makes zero sense. Like, you can't just have all of that beautiful character development and change for him in Iron Man 3 and then suddenly come this movie, oh, it's all gone just because we need it for plot convenience. Like, what?
Well, I was gonna say, well, apparently you can, but
Yeah, because Joss Whedon got away with
to
it.
quote Jeff Goldblum, just because you could doesn't mean you
Yeah,
should. And
exactly.
they should not have.
So that's them. And then, I mean, I get Thor is another thing entirely because, as we discussed, nothing really much happened in his movie. So whatever he's doing in here it doesn't matter. But even Steve, like, Steve's characterization is always weird for me in this. Like, he says really weird things, like the whole language thing. Like, that's totally him falling back into, or Joss Whedon at least falling back into that, like, he's, a goody two-shoes grandpa who won't
Yeah,
spare.
right. Which, like, I'll
Bullshit.
admit, I laugh at it. I think it's funny, but
It is
yeah, it
funny.
doesn't actually. It fits more with the stereotype of
Yeah.
Captain who he actually is. Like, listen, he was in the army. They're not language people there.
Like, listen, he just discovered in the previous movie that his entire, like, sacrifice was meaningless, and he's been having to deal with that in theory, and now he's just language and,
He's
oh,
gonna be swearing up a storm. I don't know what you're talking about.
it just doesn't make sense. And I don't know. All around, I just think, like, all of the characterization is so off based on, like, all the other mini movies, all the smaller movies that came in between.
Mm.
The non-team up movies, and we're missing something. And a good writer could manage it, right? Like, there are writers out there who could manage this weird characterization in it coming out of nowhere and mentioning things that don't happen in this movie but that have happened in between. A good writer can do that. Joss Whedon is evidently not a good enough writer to manage it, because I think everyone was very confused.
Yeah, I have nothing to add except maybe ask, and this is not me playing devil's advocate in any way because I agree with you like 100%. Who would you have wanted to write this?
Oh, that's a good question. Not Joss Whedon. I would trust the Russo Bros a little bit more, but I mean,
Yeah.
even they, I don't know. Like, obviously, I liked Infinity War, but I feel like even they had a little bit of trouble keeping up with, like, the large cast,
Well, that was so much. That was at least
That's
like
true.
twice
There's a
as
lot
big as
there.
this.
Yeah. I would, well, a woman for start, because then we wouldn't have the whole
Oh,
Bruce
yeah, that is an
Tasha's
amazing
whole thing.
point. Yeah.
Let's actually just
We
let's
could have
talk about that for a bit.
Okay,
But
let me just say really quick,
go,
we
yeah.
could have asked that woman who wrote the Guardians of the Galaxy script.
Oh, wait,
I think her name's
that?
I think her name's
Oh, I didn't
Nicole.
know this. I love her immediately.
Let me look really quick. She Yeah, her name's Nicole Perlman.
Really?
She wrote, okay, I'm quoting from Wikipedia here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's best known for writing the script for Guardians of the Galaxy after 2 years of researching and writing most of the original before James Gunn came into the project.
Whoa, what?
Yes.
No way.
So,
No
like,
wonder. Oh my God. Because, okay, we're not covering the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, as you guys have probably already figured out, because it happens before Age of Ultron. But I love the first Guardians movie. I don't like the second one at all. And I wonder if maybe there's a reason there for that, because if she wrote the first one, or majorly wrote it before James Gunn came on, and then James Gunn wrote the second one.
yeah, and I don't know, like, how much was
She wrote.
her and, like, how much got changed,
Yeah. But even like
Um,
the skeleton of a script is sometimes enough to shape a movie, you know?
right.
And
Well, then you're gonna be happy because spoiler alert, she worked on the story for Captain Marvel.
okay, good. That makes me that makes me feel a lot better. I mean, not that I had any doubts about Captain Marvel, but, like, I know there's a
Oh
guy
yeah.
involved with it, and I wish that they could have just given a woman or a couple women free range of that entire movie. But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna complain because I'm very excited about it, and Dude Bros are complaining enough, and fuck all of you.
Yeah, you
If you're
suck.
complaining about Captain Marvel, fuck you.
Let us love
Anyways,
things.
oh, I was gonna say Natasha. That's what I was talking about, right? Or I wanted to
Yeah,
bring up.
yeah. You would have wanted a woman to do this
Yes,
movie, to
to
write this
fix
movie because
to
it
fix
would have
Nat.
fixed that.
And what I mean by fix Nat is that I feel like I can't talk too much about this because so many other people have talked about it more eloquently than I or we are about to.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's the scene at Clint's family farm where she and Bruce they're like in their, like, robes or whatever, and they talk about being a monster and maybe running away together and that whole thing. And I forget exactly what she says because I always try to ignore this scene because I hate it so much. But she basically equates her own sterility to being a monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is all kinds
Of
of
problems.
problematic. First of all, sterility in general, like this doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it. It doesn't equal monstrosity. You just like that's just a weird thing to equate there out of nowhere. In a movie that's like not even, I wouldn't say being a monster is a theme of this movie. Um, I don't know if you would disagree on that, but like that whole, I'm a monster kind of comes out of nowhere for me personally.
The only thing I can think of, the one thing I can think of, and this can be a reach, is because this follows immediately after Iron Man 3. Well, not immediately, but we're doing this after Iron Man 3.
True.
And Tony's whole thing in that is we create our own demons, and then he creates Ultron. So
True.
that's it. That's all I got.
I want to say that Joss Whedon is not that smart. But
this is all I got, though.
If he is that smart, then he should have done it in a more heavy-handed way in this movie, like the whole monstrosity being a monster theme. Because really, this is the only I think part in Age of Ultron that we get of it. Because the rest of Age of Ultron, I think, is more about Tony creating. I wouldn't call Ultron a monster. He is it's all about AI and robots, right? And that's weird to say that like robotics or AI are like a theme, but that's what it is. It's Vision versus the creation of Vision versus the creation of Ultron, and the difference between those two and the problems that occur because of both of them, right? Kind of. Maybe that's oversimplifying things. But anyways, Natasha, right? Sterility, monstrosity. Sorry, I rant about this movie a lot. Gabby, you know, know this.
Yeah. No,
Sorry to everyone here. It's because I actually love this movie a lot. It's probably one of my favorite movies in the MCU, and that's very tragic considering that I would rewrite half of it if given the chance. What was I saying? Nat, blah 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 blah. Oh, a woman's worth. Looking back at my notes, a woman's worth is not tied to her ability to give birth. That is also should not necessarily have to be said, but given this movie and also the climate we're currently in, maybe it does have to be said. And then number 3, not necessarily saying that Natasha as a character couldn't be someone who finds, children and giving birth to be something important, but it doesn't read to me at all as accurate for Joss Whedon to suddenly be like, oh, she like really cares about.
Right. I have never
like what?
People can change their minds, obviously, but I have never ever once gotten the impression that this is something that she would choose for herself. On the other hand, we'll never know if she would ever choose it for herself because it was done to her.
True.
And obviously that is also a bad thing that needs to be said. Just because it was done to you doesn't mean you're bad because it was forced upon you.
Yes.
But in terms of her nature,
yeah, it makes no sense.
Who she is and where she is right now, I don't see it.
Yeah, like happening. At all. And I think, but what you said is really important there, that you use the phrase, it was done to her. And I think if they had maybe focused on that a bit more during this scene or that entire speech, like Bruce saying like, oh, well, that's not your fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if there was any kind of, I hate to use the word forgiveness, but forgiveness on Bruce's part towards Nat, like, it's not your fault. Like, you don't have to feel this way. This was something terrible done to you. That you shouldn't be torturing yourself for. That's a totally different spin on the situation, but instead Bruce is just like, oh, like that sucks, me too, and we also missed our window, bye. And like
not
he just kind of
what?
Yeah, like what? Okay.
With that.
It's just completely out of left field. It's gross, it's very sexist and presumptuous and totally a white dude thing to write also. Like, clearly, all women feel this way, even though Natasha, in her entire incarnation in the current modern-day MCU, has never once even shown off the fact that she would even think about having kids. Like, it was something created for this movie. And that's very frustrating.
Yeah, but she likes them because she likes Clint's kids.
That's true. Yeah, she also
That's all
she
I
does
got.
like
I mean, she likes Clint's kids, but maybe, a lot of people, and I am not speaking for all people, a lot of people don't want to have their own kids, but they still like kids.
Mhm.
And I mean, this way she gets to be like the fun, super secret agent aunt that
Exactly.
is being a mom.
And I think it's important that like this is the first time in this movie where this entire conflict was created that we see her interact with kids. Like,
Mhm.
like we don't see her interact with children outside of this movie.
Right,
And
like it was never a problem, and then
nope.
you made it a problem.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
And then
literally
you
the
had to
reason
underline why it was a problem.
the reason why like
Could have
Clint
avoided
really
this.
has a family is because of the BruceNat thing, or maybe vice versa. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
they
no,
play into each
definitely.
other
Hmm.
and it's frustrating. But anyways, I'm sure I'm I apologize if I used any wrong terminology there or worded it badly, but like
Oh yeah, definitely correct us if
yeah,
you did.
I'm
Uh,
sure many more. I know many other people have um, spoken about it better than we have, but we had to talk about it because I think it's like huge, and we wouldn't be doing what we promised we'd do here on this podcast if we didn't at least mention that glaring thing
right.
in the middle of this movie. Um, anyways, what else do we want to talk about? Do we have anything else to say about Clint's farm family?
I'm sure they're nice and all, but
But
but why are they there?
yeah, again, because of BruceNat, I'm pretty sure. Or
I mean,
also,
I was talking to Amanda about this, and I had the epiphany. I was like, oh, maybe it was there to prevent Clint and Natasha
yeah,
happening.
it was literally like we gotta cock block them here because Joss Whedon, have an ulterior motive
Think
for
that might
some
have
reason.
been
Want
legit.
to force this narrative. Yeah, like I'm not kidding. Yeah.
Well, but I also liked what you said because I think you had mentioned not when we talked today, but in your notes something about like they could have made her like Clint's sister,
Yes. Yeah. I
like,
was.
and it would have been a good parallel with Wanda and Pietro,
Yep.
and that would have been
Yeah.
so much better.
And you guys will hear a little bit more about this because I also talked about it with my brother and sister, which will be like inserting their like little interview portion in the middle of this somewhere, I'm sure. But basically, what I said in my notes is that there was a Tumblr post I think once I should track it down really because it was really brilliantly worded and it was not my idea. But the concept that like if they had just instead of having Laura Barton, Clint's wife, and those kids be Clint's wife and kids, they could have easily made it, Clint has this sister that he keeps secret and she's like a single mom or whatever, and she has these kids and it's his responsibility to take care of them. And it sets up a perfect parallel to how Pietro has to take care of Wanda throughout the movie. And then when Pietro sacrifices himself for Clint at the end, it's just it heightens all those emotions, I think.
Oh
And it
no, I
would have
got
been so much better.
I got like chills when you said that, and just not just because my room is super cold. Like that, yeah, Marvel, hire Caitlin. What are you doing?
Hire me, but also whoever wrote
The
that
person that wrote that
post.
post
Yeah.
also. Yes, you're right.
Because yeah, ever since I read that, I was like, it's like the perfect solution to one of the things that bothers me most in this movie. Um, it's it comes out of nowhere and it makes literal no sense. And if this theme is, I mean, I was talking about the theme of this movie being like robots and AI before, but it's also about family. This is going to get messy as I explain this, but like Ultron, when he wakes up and it's the visual is pitch black and he doesn't have a body and he's just this AI in a, you know, computer digital space. When Vision wakes up, he wakes up in a body, he can see everything, and he like is flipped by Thor or whatever, and he immediately is confronted with his own like reflection in the window, right? So he sees
Mm.
himself. Right? And I think that's important in distinguishing the differences between Ultron growing up very quickly and versus Vision growing up very quickly, and how they're completely separate people or robots or whatever. And in addition to that, Ultron wakes up, you know, nothing, can't see anything, and all he has is this data that like Bruce and Tony have pumped into him, versus Vision wakes up with Jarvis, who loves and cares for Tony and views Tony as like a family member, right? And I think that kind of,
Ooh, okay.
right? Like there's that theme of like Jarvis was family, just like Wanda and Pietro are family, and Clint has a family. And we're all in this together. We're a family. Like it's that kind of theme. Although I feel like maybe I'm giving Joss Whedon a bit too much credit. But that's what I kind of take out of it. It's robots and AI in this cool, cold, stark, sterile. I guess maybe that's where Natasha also comes in.
Stark.
Oh, I
Oh.
see what I accidentally did there.
No, yeah, accidentally. I can't give you too much credit.
Stark and sterile. Ultron AI versus the warmth and love that you get from, I don't know, everyone else in this movie who has family, right? Or considers themselves family. And again, maybe that's reaching too much, but also it might be just me being incredibly biased because for those of you who don't know, found family is like my shit. Also, twins are my shit because my younger brother and sister are twins. Anyways, I guess it just would have added more to the family thing because obviously, you know, wife and kids is still a family, but me personally, that like sibling bond is a better parallel and more closely tied to the theme of family than
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me as like a millennial.
No, I think I would have preferred that also. Not for the same reasons, mostly just because I prefer that kind of parallel.
Yeah.
And also again,
Cle-
like just purely from a writing standpoint, not even like themes I enjoy.
Mhm.
I think it would have been better. But anyway,
It's cleaner, I think, right?
yeah. You were talking about how we're all in this together, and then in my brain I broke out into High School Musical. But
Yeah, every time I watch that scene.
but also I was thinking about like the sense of, and the theme of togetherness when they confront Ultron for the first time at the party,
Yeah.
where Ultron gets called the End Game, and
Yeah.
how do you guys plan on beating that? And Steve says together, and Tony says then we'll lose, and Steve says we'll do that together too, and I just weep
Uh,
a
that's
lot.
like, see, that's an example of something that is
And I
extremely well written, I think, in this movie.
yes,
That is
I
such
think
a good scene.
everything at the party is great.
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
so many things I love about it. Thor talking to the war vets.
Yes.
Steve almost lifting Mjolnir, and I like 95% believe he could have lifted it, but didn't want to embarrass Thor or
He was
anyone
like, I
else.
know, Thor,
He's
I'll help
like,
you
I
out.
know, I'm not gonna do it. But the togetherness and the fact that Ultron gets referred to as the end game in that scene, and the they're gonna win or lose together. Um, I would like to see that come back somehow in
Oh my God, they have to.
Avengers Endgame. I would like a
That's like,
callback to that
yeah,
because
I feel like
it
they
is
have
so
to.
direct. It is so direct that I feel like if they don't utilize it and bring it for full circle, they're really missing out on a huge opportunity.
Yeah,
Like even if it's an obvious opportunity, like I'm a sucker. That's gonna hit me like
really
so
hard.
hard.
Yeah,
They need to do it.
they literally have
Destroy
to.
me. Do it.
Just fucking kill us with the with the end game. You kind of have to now.
Yeah.
Because it literally is so like they've already lost. Well, I guess they didn't really lose together, which is the heartbreaking part about Infinity War, and probably the reason that they did lose was because they weren't together. And so when they come back together in Endgame, it is the original six Avengers plus,
Oh.
Rhodey and Nebula and Carol probably, and Ant-Man. Can't forget Scott. But it's they're and Rocket. Sorry, Rocket.
Rocket.
Anyways, I only care about the original six. It's fine. Um, but they're gonna do that together. Like that's the whole part about the end game, and that's why I think people are like, oh, they took it from Doctor Strange's speech in Infinity War or whatever. But I don't think
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. I think they did take it from here because I think one of the Russos was like, oh, it isn't spoken in Infinity War. Like we it's a different title. And I think they legitimately forgot that that he said it. And we're like, yeah, we're so funny. We like took it from a Tony reference in Age of Ultron, totally forgetting that like
in their own movie.
yeah.
That's so good though.
We're like, ah, shit.
Oh, we didn't even think of
I
that.
didn't think of it. Now we're now I'm
But and I
embarrassed.
also and so Ultron is like dead, right?
Yes, Ultron is dead.
Like 100% dead. Okay.
I mean, so far as we know,
As far as we know,
I'm pretty sure like Vision, I guess, took care of
he
like
would.
eradicating him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, and again, please keep in mind that I only managed to watch 45 minutes of this movie, and it took me like 2 hours to do that much because what I was watching it on was skipping so much.
You have seen this before, so memory also, right?
Yeah, I've seen it like twice maybe. But so Ultron's ends up deciding that he needs to like eradicate humanity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's something to do with the Mind Stone. Ultron never has possession of it, right?
He does briefly.
Okay. Okay. No. Do you
Why?
see where I'm going with this?
Spell it out.
Okay. So Loki was being controlled by the scepter, which had the Mind Stone in it, right?
Yeah.
And Ultron had brief possession of the Mind Stone, and he wanted
Oh
to
my
destroy
God.
humanity.
You're a
I
fucking
think,
genius.
and then at the end of the movie, Thanos says, "I will do it myself," and I was like, "What is he doing himself? He
Oh
didn't
my
have any
God.
minions in this movie." And then it hit me. I was like, "Oh my God! I think
Oh my God.
somehow Ultron was being influenced by Thanos."
Oh my
I mean,
God.
they got technically our minds, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's why like Wanda can like feel especially like the Mind Stone, like when it's just in Vision when before Jarvis is in him, she like feels him dreaming or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can't like see me now, but for a while I was
So
like
I
my
think that
hands in my head.
think
Oh my
I think
God.
that Thanos was trying to use Ultron to destroy the Avengers, but it failed.
Or not even the Avengers, because right, you said that
Right,
Ultron wanted
and
to eradicate humanity, or you know, might we say
right,
half of
but
humanity?
right, exactly. But if he had managed to destroy the Avengers, then they're theoretically, I mean, obviously there are other superheroes out there, but there would be nothing stopping Thanos, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nothing thought stopping Thanos. Also, it would have done his job
I
for him on Earth. He could have just
yeah.
waltzed in and grabbed what are the other stones there? Time and is this well, what else is on Earth right now? Is it just the Time Stone and the Mind Stone as of Age of Ultron?
I think so.
Because the Space Stone, where's
Okay.
the Space Stone as of Age of Ultron? I don't fucking know.
I don't remember. I think they took it to Asgard. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Anyway, point
whatever.
aside,
Point.
I had a brilliant theory, and you should believe me.
It is a theory that I give my, Caitlin stamp of approval because
Hell yeah.
given what we know about like Loki in the first Avengers being controlled by the Mind Stone,
Right, because they confirmed
totally
that.
makes sense.
Ooh.
Yep. Yep.
Marvel, if you're listening,
If
please
you're out there,
tell me I'm right.
also hire us.
Or just tell me I'm right. That's all the validation
Yeah,
I need for the rest
actually.
of my life. But it
Um,
took me how many years to figure that out, though? Like,
well,
I mean,
yeah, so it's not like a popularly like believed thing, which maybe so it's still
maybe
shoe
it
I
is,
guess.
and I have just never stumbled upon it.
I
But
haven't either, and because I've seen this movie an embarrassing amount of times. Because I really do like it a lot, even though I hate it. It's it's tragic. It really is. But I just don't. I've never considered that before. So kudos to you, Gabry.
I'm taking a vow. You can't see me. Right. But anyway, yeah, and I think this because just the thing that made me start on this train of thought was Thanos saying, "I'll do it myself," and I was like, "What were you? Who was doing it
Yeah.
for you?"
Like, why did you suddenly be like, what, is he watching this like it's a reality TV
I
show?
think
Like, how
he
does he fucking
is,
know?
which is hilarious to me.
Me too, Thanos. Thanos is the audience. Thanos is the audience insert in the MCU.
Oh God.
Oh man. I don't know. Did you want to talk about any of the things that Kelley and Kyle and I talked about? I did some
Um,
of it, like the difference between
yeah, you
alternate.
did. You did a lot of it. You're right. We could have had it all with Pietro, though.
Yeah. I want them I want them to bring him back. Bring Pietro back.
Maybe they will.
I really want them to. That's my like crackpot theory that I don't think will actually ever happen, but if they do hashtag spoiler alert for Avengers 4 / Avengers Endgame. But if they do end up going like back in time and
Right.
messing with stuff in the timeline, they have to bring him back. That's my like ultimate goal is bringing back Pietro. And I did talk about this as you guys will soon listen again with Kelley and Kyle, but they did film at the very end, of the film where
Hmm.
Wanda comes out in her new outfit. They filmed Pietro running out in a new outfit like as if they just
Yeah.
were gonna decide to keep him in, and then Joss Whedon's a fucking asshole. Or I shouldn't say that because I kind of want to like write him a letter and very kindly be like, please, Mr.
Why
Joss
did you
Whedon,
do
sir.
this?
No, no, I don't even want to know why. Just can you please release it, please, sir?
Oh,
I just want to see it.
wait. So what happened was they filmed it and then he decided that they were going to kill him?
Well, I think they might have filmed it to like
Or
keep
did they do
people. Yeah, I
misdirection?
was gonna say, I think it might have
Okay.
been misdirection. There was a lot of misdirection, if I remember correctly, with this film surrounding Pietro and Aaron Taylor Johnson, because it was announced that like Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen, I think, and Paul Bettany probably, they'd all like signed like really long contracts. And so
Okay.
then people were like, "Oh yeah, we have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in the MCU, and it's going to be great." So that's why everyone was so
Okay.
surprised when
Yeah.
Pietro died, because hardcore fans were like, "Oh my God!" Like I thought he he had
But,
signed the contract.
but,
And later, Joss Whedon admitted was like, "Oh, that was like a lie, basically, to misdirect you." Same probably with the footage shot, but in like they definitely shot it still. Like he wouldn't lie about that because he said that during that interview where he admitted the misdirection. So I don't understand why he would lie about shooting that that
right.
specific shot after admitting to the
Right.
lie.
Like
Does that make sense?
what do you gain from that
From more
besides
misdirection.
our tears?
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Joss Whedon, for. Well, actually, I'm not sorry, but please, please release the
She'll
footage
apologize if
after the
she gets
footage.
the footage.
This is blackmail, even though my words and opinion do nothing to taint your reputation. But please, just give me the footage, because then I can just run wild with it and cry and be happy in my little alternate universe in which Pietro is still alive. Because you don't break up twins. It's not
Yeah,
allowed.
that
It's not cool.
man, okay, I'm gonna have to think of more examples probably.
But the
But
obvious one
whenever
is
what is
Harry Potter.
yeah. But like nothing good happens when you
Oh,
as far as I'm aware of.
it's
It's always
just
bad.
and it's like they do it all the time. If there's a twin in fiction, you just know that one of the twins is gonna fucking bite the dust.
Hmm.
And it's annoying and sad for people who know twins or are a twin. That I'm sure it's even more effed up if you're an actual twin. Kelley and Kyle always get really emotional when
Oh,
they watch that part in the movie.
oh, babies.
So, and I guess maybe that's a good little segue. Is that the correct word? It is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Segue into my little mini interview, not really an interview, with Kelley and Kyle, my younger brother and sister, who are twins.
And
So,
I am really excited to hear what they have to say.
hi guys, this is Caitlin.
And I'm Kelley.
Took a long pause there.
I wasn't sure if you were going to go
Was
first.
I supposed to go first? Okay.
Doesn't matter.
I'll go next. I'm Kyle.
And we are all siblings.
It's true. We all are related.
Yes. Kelley and Kyle are 2 years younger than me, and they are twins. And Kyle is the older twin by
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah,
And
forget.
so or let's her forget. And when we it's fine. And when we were, casting, so to speak, for the Avengers, our Avengers group, Kelley and Kyle, I was like, well, clearly they have to be Pietro and Wanda. This was back when, Age of Ultron just came out. And then Pietro, they fucking love Pietro. So maybe we should start with that.
Yeah, that's
oh my god.
it blew me away, literally. If you see what I did there, okay.
Funny.
So funny.
Kelly, did you hear Kelly say?
No, what did Kelly say?
He bit the bullet.
Oh my god.
He
blew me away. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, in all seriousness, that was it's a pretty upsetting part of the movie. And I thought for sure that Hawkeye was gonna get he was gonna bite the bullet and not Pietro. But yeah, it was a pretty intense part of the movie, and I don't think anybody really expected that to happen.
Yeah, especially because I think the reason why they did it originally was because Joss Whedon and everyone was getting shit your characters don't stay dead because they revived Coulson in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. So he was like, ha, guess what I'm gonna do? And he perma-killed a character.
The stupidest reason to kill a character.
Yeah.
I forget where I read this once. I think it was an interview, a podcast interview with Joss Whedon, who I don't know if you guys both know. I keep talking shit about Joss Whedon, but he's the writer, director, etc. Of Age of Ultron and the first Avengers. And apparently, I should find this podcast or at least the quote and send it to you guys. But apparently, they actually shot to confuse people. They shot the ending scene where all the Avengers come out, the new Avengers. So Wanda comes down in her new outfit, and War Machine is there, and Falcon, whatever. They shot Pietro running out in a new outfit. Yeah, so that footage exists somewhere. And then they were like, no, just kidding. We're not gonna.
I wonder if we're ever gonna see that footage.
I hope so. I mean,
I feel like that's just something that you, for Pietro's credit, you're just gonna keep.
Yeah.
From. Yeah, that's
fair. Give
that's
it
not
to
fair.
us.
For real.
And Kelly and I were also talking about how, and this is moving away from just Age of Ultron, but in the future movies, it's not fair that Wanda never mentions him ever again.
Yeah, she moved on quickly, huh?
She'd say something, especially what we were talking about in Infinity War when she's with Vision and she's like, I can't lose you or something like that. She doesn't even mention I can't lose someone again or anything like that. It's just
it would have been such an easy switch.
And not even in her memory or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
And
terrible.
Right?
Yeah. No, she
just something for her to say something would be
something in one extra movie that would really
anything.
Right?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it right now. They don't. That's just blowing me away right now. They no mention of the fact that your brother,
your twin brother,
who you grew up with, you're so close with.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's nothing.
And I think so based on Age of Ultron, obviously they're twins, so that they're super close because they're twins, right? But then so they've been alone together, protecting each other since they were 10 years old, and they're probably 17, 18 in Age of Ultron ish, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's 7 or 8 years where they're by themselves, only relying on each other until the Avengers come in.
Right.
Wow.
And she doesn't say anything about him.
No mention whatsoever.
Yeah. It
Ridiculous.
pisses me off.
Kelly, if that ever happened to you and me, I would be very steamed in the afterlife.
Right.
I'd be like, what the?
I would never do that. I don't even want to think about it.
No. Right, now we're all gonna cry.
You're gonna make me cry. Stop.
Stop, guys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But
I'm sorry. Do you,
Go ahead. What were you
okay.
gonna say?
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys remember the trailer for Civil War when it first came out. There's a part in it where like it's showing like a bunch of like the scenes in Sokovia of everything like being destroyed because of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point you see Wanda like look away, and then that's when Steve's like, all right, that's enough. But then the actual movie, she ends up looking away, and Steve says that because of how she like blew up the thing in what's Lagos. Yeah. So it's
in the beginning of Winter Soldier.
So in the trailer they make it think like, oh, she's sad because she lost her brother, and then in the actual movie it's like, no, she just like fucked up and killed people.
Damn. She just wrecked people.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
okay.
I remember being like disappointed in that when I saw the actual movie, that it wasn't
Sokovia and her memories attached to Sokovia, aka
Pietro. Yeah. He's just never mentioned.
Can we talk about the trailer for a minute though? Because I remember when the trailer first came out, and it was like the first time we were like, oh shit, the Avengers are like gonna get their ass kicked in this movie. Like it was just so dark, and like I just remember Ultron.
I got no strings.
No.
So creepy.
No, that was like just such a creepy way to go about it. Great villain, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ultron is like he's a good villain.
He's like he's funny.
He's funny as shit.
He's got layers, you know.
He's Shrek.
He's like an ogre.
He's an ogre and an onion, and he is Shrek.
And he is also Shrek at the same time. And he's just
put him on the poster as Shrek.
No, I remember because we said the same thing about Thanos, and I ended up putting Shrek as Thanos on the poster.
That's true.
Anyways, what was Ultron?
Yeah, Ultron, and I don't know if the actor that plays Ultron naturally sounds like that or whatever they did to his voice, but it sounds so like creepy and and it's just like dang,
it's
a
James
voice.
Spader, I think.
Yes.
And I remember Mom was watching it with us last night. And she's like, oh, who is that? I recognize the voice. And I said, oh, James Spader. She's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So I don't think they did anything to the voice. I think that's just James Spader's voice.
His
maybe a little metallic to it, but
I think they might have added a little something there.
A little something.
Yeah.
But
very cool, very creepy.
Yeah. And he's okay. Wait, have you been watching The Magicians, Kyle?
I actually just started the first season.
Like from the beginning.
Yeah, well, like I only saw the one episode of Magicians. Really? Like the season finale or whatever.
That's a terrible episode to see.
I know, it was awful. That's why I haven't been watching it. I was like, I'm not gonna watch this show if that's gonna be the finale or whatever. But
you won't understand this, but I'm just gonna say it real quick. Just maybe me and Gabby can talk about it more. Although I don't think she watched Magicians, but Ultron reminds me, Kelley, of the monster in Magicians, like where from the season, in that he's very he's like a kid, like he's very innocent, but he has these like homicidal like urges because he's not quite human, and he wants to be human. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, he was born to like a father that is maybe not the best guy in the world.
No, yeah.
I wonder what kind of father he'll be, especially if he's like supposedly expecting. I did air quotes for those of you listening. Yeah. But
that's true.
That's interesting.
I didn't think about that.
As a short-term father for Ultron,
it wasn't good.
It wasn't good. No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
And I think I had this thought last night, and we can maybe expand upon this, is that like Ultron versus Vision, right? So Ultron was born from Tony, but also Bruce, so those two and this Mind Stone kind of AI, and it's very that's all the programming there was. Vision, however, is born from the Mind Stone mixed with Jarvis, who has Tony's kind of he cares for Tony. So instead of being born of Tony and Bruce, I guess again, Vision is born of from like caring for Tony, and he also has a body right away, which Ultron doesn't have.
That's
like
true.
Vision wakes up and he immediately sees himself reflected in the window, whereas when Ultron wakes up, everything's dark.
Oh,
and I think maybe that. I don't know.
You're
right. You know
what
I mean?
No, because also when you think about it, Wanda, when she gets to the cradle and like the body's being made. She's like, oh, I can hear his thoughts or whatever.
He's dreaming or
he's dreaming or whatever. Yeah. So that is
maybe
another
that's a
good
huge
point.
difference, right?
Yeah. Like if Ultron would have been born with the body, you know, maybe he would have, you know, had more.
Yeah.
I don't want to maybe sympathy for the human race. I don't know, but
maybe I don't know. Maybe he would have been like maybe Tony would have been right. You know, like maybe it would have actually worked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Damn, think about that. Then we wouldn't have a movie.
True.
Yeah.
Or another movie after that.
Yeah. Everything would have been peaceful.
Damn, Civil War wouldn't have happened. Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
bits and pieces of Civil War.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into that. But
I don't this is moving away more from like, you know, Wanda and Pietro, which is mostly what I want to talk about. But since we're here, I wanted to see what you both thought of this. Is that I don't know if you remember me mentioning this, Kelley, but the part where Bruce is like, I'm stuck in a time loop. Like this is exactly where everything went wrong the first time, and he's referring to creating Ultron at first with Tony, and then this is the time loop is Tony wants to create Vision, right? But I thought that it was so accurate in that like this movie is literally where everything else goes wrong for all the future movies.
It really,
characters. Like if Tony had not created Ultron without consulting like Steve and the rest of the team first, Civil War wouldn't have happened. They would have been together for Infinity War. They could have probably Pietro probably wouldn't have died because they would have gotten to them like peacefully and not, you know what I mean? Like the twins would have both been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
it just makes me sad.
Also, looking back like at this movie, this is like one of the first like superhero movies that you see where like the heroes aren't right in what they're doing. You know, just with Tony and like making Ultron, and like it's the first time where you're like, oh shit, like the superheroes that we idol just fucked up,
and like in a big way.
In a really big way. So it's just a different take on a superhero movie, and I thought it worked. Thought it was cool.
Yeah. And it I think that's the key. Like it did, like for the most part, like this movie is good. Like a lot of people don't like this movie because like the characterization's kind of off and weird stuff happens. But in general, like it's really funny, and the overall like shape of the movie, it's good. Like what happens has to happen in order for the rest of the MCU to kind of evolve.
It definitely gives a lot of key ideas or factors to take place in the next movie.
And I love it.
No, it's awesome. And then going back to Wanda and Pietro. Yes, that's
his name.
The fast one. Quicksilver is what I usually call him, but
you can call him that. That's fine. Yeah.
All right, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. I give you permission.
So their powers, it's born from the staff, from the Mind Stone?
Yeah.
Do I have that correct?
You are correct. Okay. So the Nazi Strucker guy, Nazi Hydra, he experimented on them somehow. I mean, fake pseudoscience using the Mind Stone. And I'm not quite sure how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially when it comes to Quicksilver's powers.
Yeah.
Because
Wanda's makes sense,
Wanda,
right?
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, mind.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But being really fast from a...
It's
just something that's not right here.
He used the Mind Stone to use his mind to, like... This sounds really weird and far-fetched, but, like, change his body metabolism or something
Sure.
to make that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but
maybe his mind can just take things in faster, and
and therefore
maybe
he can move fast as well.
There's some solid logic here, and we're getting to the bottom of it.
We will figure this out.
But yeah, that's a good to bring up because that makes no sense.
I also just learned, I was reading like a thing from the comics, and like just like recently they came out where like, you know, the Celestial that you see in, I think, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, it's in like whatever that the guy that holds all the collector. No, do you remember? Okay, so you know how he like shows them like the power of the Infinity Stones or whatever. It shows, and there's like a really big Celestial that like slams his thing into the ground, and it like
really?
Yeah. Well, anyway, that Celestial that supposedly is where everyone's powers are born from, because it like died or whatever and went into the earth, and so it's something like that. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. And if that were to be true, that is cool. So,
yeah, or especially if they could like shift it into the MCU. That is so interesting.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
I'm gonna have to look up that. So there's a scene in Guardians of the Galaxy where the Collector shows him.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just dumb. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy in a while.
No, there is a scene where they're with the Collector, I think, and they're like
He shows them, right?
He shows them like visuals of like the powers of the stones, and there's like a big giant Celestial with like a staff or a hammer or whatever, and he like slams it into the earth or whatever planet that is, and it just like destroys everything. And
that is so interesting.
It's the purple stone. I forget
power.
It's the Power Stone. Hell yeah. Power
up.
It's the Power
Captain
Stone.
Planet.
Fuck yeah. So yeah, that's
cool.
I forget what we were talking about.
I don't know, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking. I think you jumped to that because we were talking about the origin of Pietro and Wanda's powers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
We made that jump. Which is fair.
Yeah.
Which is cool because you often don't hear about like small superhero powers, like, and where they get them. So
true. It's just like, they have it.
They're like, oh, they're fast, you know.
They got bit by a spider.
They got bit by a spider, and that's how it was.
Every superhero bit by a spider.
Great callback to Spider-Man.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Wanda's a boss ass bitch.
One thing. Sorry. I mean, we could talk about Wanda being a boss ass bitch, but do you want to do that real quick?
No, we can. What do you do?
I just wanted to mention how, like, there's so much foreshadowing that Pietro is gonna, like, die, right? Like, he's always dodging bullets are right in front of him. He gets grazed a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then but it doesn't make sense.
America saying, if you get killed, walk it off. And as he says it shows Pietro.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well,
what the heck? How are they going to do that to us like that?
And we're like, oh, Captain America, you're so funny. And then it happens.
And then it actually happens.
Laugh at the time and you're like, wait a minute.
I did notice that is a very odd thing for someone to say. Like, just like, if you get killed, walk it off. Like, what? No, I'm not gonna walk it off.
It's just like, it's such a weird like term, like walk it off specifically over Pietro, like because he's the running one.
Because he runs and doesn't walk anywhere. Yeah.
Like at all.
That's a little odd. And Pietro's and Hawkeye's dynamic throughout the whole movie is awesome and cute, and
it's so good. I love that.
It adds a lot of humor to it.
Yeah. Right. And this is also going a little bit in the future towards Civil War again, but like the reason why like Hawkeye is so close with Wanda in Civil War is because like he's looking out for her because of Pietro.
Yeah.
Because like feels like indebted to him. But again, he's never mentioned. Ugh.
Damn. Pretty
I mentioned this to Kelley and she was like, I guess so. I could see that. So maybe I'll mention it here to you. But I think, you know how a lot of people, myself included, were like kind of frustrated that like, oh, Hawkeye has like a secret family.
That was frustrating.
Married and stuff, especially because everyone's like Clint and Natasha, right? Like they wanted that to happen. I read once, I forget where, it was someone on Tumblr, so if I find it, I will like link it when we post this episode. But someone was like, what would have made that so much better? Like you could still have a secret family, but make him have a sister. So his wife, instead of being a wife, is a sister who has siblings, single mom who he's taking care of, and that parallels. If that would
that could have worked.
The next parallel,
right,
between Pietro,
Pietro and Wanda,
and just everything.
So then Pietro is taking care of Wanda, and then Hawkeye is taking care of his sister, and that's why they're like, does that make sense?
Wow, like, that would have worked way better,
right? Yeah. It would have fixed like a huge part of the movie.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm thinking of is if they were thinking of the future and with, the snap happening and people getting turned to dust, like it is way more like heavy on Hawkeye if his family, like his actual wife and kids died than his siblings. I mean, not to say that it wouldn't be terrible, but like as an audience, I think most
audiences
we would connect with the loss of that over.
And they might have been thinking that far ahead because the ending scene is Thanos, which I'm pretty sure is already voiced by Josh Brolin.
Yes, Josh.
He's Josh by Brolin, and he takes
Josh. Oh God!
He takes the gauntlet, and he's like, I'll do it myself. Yeah. So they probably were already thinking like, oh, we're gonna have to kill half the people in the snapping.
The snapping.
The snapping.
Wanda's cute accent is gone by Infinity War. That's funny. That's
That's true.
That's not really important, but like I think it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could grow out of it. Because, like, that happens sometimes. Like, if you're used
at that
to...
age?
I don't know. Yeah.
Hearing... Like, Kate Middleton, for example. All of a sudden, she's talking British and shit. Like, super proper. But she's not really that proper. No, not Kate Middleton.
I was like, what?
Oh, yeah. I was like, who?
The other Harry, one? The other one.
Kate Upton, the supermodel?
No, Meghan Markle?
Yeah.
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
She's married to Prince Harry.
Prince Henry.
She's married to Prince Henry.
I don't know.
I feel like we're like every time we say something, we shift universes.
We're just talking about something completely different.
Like we're back in the
you should definitely
universe.
All this out because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. I'm so confused. No, okay. Her accent doesn't matter. I just think it's interesting that from this first one, her first appearance, is like a super heavy
It's very heavy, yeah.
It is. It's very noticeable.
But then in Infinity War, it's completely gone. She's talking like an American person.
That's
like
true.
herself.
Like not even a hint of an accent.
I mean, to be fair, like I didn't even notice, but
that's fair.
I guess that's
me and Kelley are like attached.
Yeah. If you guys like really care about Wanda a lot, then yeah, you'll see. But I wasn't that invested in Wanda.
That's fair.
Just because
her story is weird.
Yeah, it's just odd.
It's a little weird, but like her origin from the movie that we should be talking about right now is really amazing and
moving.
Yeah, moving.
Yeah.
Oh, and the part. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry when Pietro dies and she like falls to the ground and it's all silent. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But then when she goes and she takes the heart out of Ultron,
the final,
she's like, "Do you want to know how it felt? It felt like that." And I'm like, "Oh,
you didn't do it with the accent." What?
Do you want to know how it felt? It felt like that.
That was actually pretty good.
Wow.
I was totally kidding. Like I didn't think you were gonna do it, but that was you pulled it off. Wow.
Damn, girl.
It's like that. You're from Sokovia. That's crazy.
How was your accent?
My You didn't see that coming? Oh, I tried. I'm sorry.
You don't need to apologize because it was good.
Thank you.
God.
I love us.
Yeah, no. Also, like watching it, like I was like, is that Kick-Ass? Like, is that fucking Kick-Ass? It is. That's the actor, right? Aaron Taylor Johnson. Okay. Yeah. I was like, wow. He's just
that's Kick-Ass.
He's in a different. Yeah, that's Kick-Ass. Huh.
And also, whenever I see them like next to each other, being like brother sister, I'm also like, ew. Because they
were in Godzilla
Godzilla as husband and wife. So
yeah.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah. And like
that's
came out around the same
time.
Yeah. So it was weird.
I gotta watch that.
I saw this one first, and then I watched Godzilla. So watching Godzilla was like, ooh, for me. Whereas this, because like I think whatever you watch first kind of like solidifies.
Yeah. Kind of puts that image in your head, and you're like, oh no. It's a very sour.
Yeah, it's very sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh. Very good.
I forgot about that.
But they're both really great actors.
Yeah, I like them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought his performance in Godzilla was honestly his best. And
really good. Yeah.
I mean, he did good in Age of Ultron, but like he felt more real to me in that one. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't get past his like accent and his being Kick-Ass. It just it threw it off for me as Pietro. I was like, I don't believe that thing you're selling.
I wonder if like a part of that was because like he knew that he wasn't going to survive, so he was just like, I'm here for a paycheck and I'm gonna just put in my best, I guess, but like it's not going to really work on the character.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
It's sad, but I mean, okay, this is maybe just me, but I like really want him to come back as Pietro if they can figure out a way to do that, because I do like this version of Pietro a lot, of Quicksilver.
Yeah. No, for sure.
To the other one,
Peter. Yeah.
Even though those scenes in the freaking what are X-Men? There we go. Okay, sorry. I was like, what movies are they?
What series?
In those X-Men movies, like those scenes are probably some of the best scenes of the whole movie.
Funny. Yeah.
But yes, I do. I like the way in this movie, like the way he describes like how his parents died and stuff. It's just like, oh shit, this is pretty heavy. You know,
that's like I think his best acting in this movie.
That scene.
Yeah,
sure.
Because it's not like. Okay, I also do have to say, because again, I hate Joss Whedon and he wrote this movie. I think that a lot of Pietro's writing is his fault, obviously, Josh Whedon. Yeah. And so, Josh Whedon? Just Josh Whedon.
Josh Whedon?
Because, like, the best part of, actors can only do what they're given. Yeah. So they can only work so much with the script, So the rest of the movie, Pietro is like, you didn't see that coming, and he's all these quips and, jokes, and he exists to make Wanda feel bad and to kind of act as like that opposite for Quick Eye. Wow. That's like the ship. Hawkeye. Whereas the character work he gets to do is that scene that you're talking about, where he's talking about his parents dying and them being stuck there. Yeah. That's deep shit. And he sells that because that writing is actually good.
Right. He's given something that he can actually work with and do something with.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, as an actor, you, like, delve into, like, you're given
that's actually a character piece.
And you, like, work on that character. And, like, if you're not given much of a character, it's hard to go on.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's so good. Because, like,
it's
he
the
actually
one
gets,
piece.
like, depth to the character. You're like, oh, okay, this is
like latching on
to it. That's true. Like, if you think about it, without that scene, like, Pietro is kind of insignificant in the story. Like he doesn't have many things to say. Yeah,
make fun. Needs to say fun things to like banter with Hawkeye.
Yeah,
comic relief.
And like you said, like just the dynamic with
Wanda,
and then to die. To save Hawkeye and the kid.
And the kid.
which I wanted to talk briefly about that. I don't know where I heard this. It was some like theory.
I think it's a deleted scene, actually.
Or maybe if there was a deleted scene where like he actually knew the kid and the mom.
Oh, really?
You know, the kid that gets saved and the mom with the hair.
I'm pretty sure he gives her like a dress or something.
Or something, or like,
you know, they're giving out like rations and stuff.
Yeah, just
yeah.
Oh, rations.
That's a good word for it.
I'm like fruit.
Here,
have an apple. Here's a piece of bread. I don't know.
We'll survive off of this fruit.
But like, it was very like, it seems very not romantic,
but like
just,
he knew them
he
and
knew
cared.
them, and cared for them. So like, if they kept that scene in, I feel like his death would have been more
for the kid.
And
maybe that's why they took it out, actually, because they wanted to spin it more like
that breaks my heart when Shield comes. Well, not always Shield, but like Nick Fury comes with the big ship, the helicarrier. He's so excited. Pietro is so excited. He looks so like thrilled. I'm like, oh my god! So this is Shield, and
like this
Captain's
is the way
like, this is what it is. This should be a Shield or whatever. And he's like, I could get used to this, and then he doesn't get to.
He
just takes that away from him. And I'm like,
it's funny. Fair. It's funny because you can almost see like in his eyes, like he's seeing the future that could be with Shield and working together with Cap and all them.
Yeah,
and then
they're like, I'll take that away from him.
Yeah, just snags away from.
God.
Yeah, that's
it
heartbreaking.
Breaks my fucking heart. Yeah,
breaks my heart.
Okay. Anyways, I guess we should maybe wrap up.
Yeah.
My count is 40 minutes.
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do, pig.
So thank you, Kelley and Kyle, for joining me today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. If you guys are available, we would like to ask like everyone that we guest interview back for the Infinity War episode.
Oh,
so
hell yeah.
That will be sick.
That'll be wild. Yeah.
And Kyle, you will get to talk about Bucky that time more so because Kyle is also our Bucky.
I love Bucky.
After Pietro died, I was like, I can't just not include my brother anymore.
Yeah. I evolved to Bucky.
Yeah. Pietro evolved too.
Yeah. Winter Soldier.
Who's that? Avenger.
It's Bucky.
Oh God! All right. On that note.
Goodbye, everyone.
I will. Yes.
Everyone, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay. On the 8th of March. We'll just put it that way. Our episode on Captain America: Civil War, which is basically Avengers 3. No offense, Infinity War.
But there are so many in there that we all kind of knew.
It's basically Avengers.
It's basically Avengers, and we'll get into this more, but it makes me mad that it's basically Avengers because I wanted Cap to have like the Iron Man trilogy treatment. Anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because he did not get that, and it's kind of not fair. But we digress. Captain America: Civil War. Who are we talking with? Is it Hannah?
I don't know.
Well, I'll have to look at my notes. Who's to say
there will
who's joining
be someone else here.
It'll be a surprise for all of us. Well, anyways, as usual, thank you guys for listening. Catch us on Twitter at AvengeGirls or on Facebook, although I don't think we're using the Facebook as often.
We're not as good at
we're not as good as Facebook. We're barely on. And if you like what we talk about, if you like our show, please leave us a review on iTunes and all that jazz. I don't know, there's probably other places to leave reviews, but iTunes is always the one that seems most important. Is that right? Would you say?
As far as I'm aware.
Okay, cool. Leave us a review on iTunes.
At this.
We're just swimming through life. Who knows? Thanks for listening, guys.
AvengeGirls out.
We're just swimming through life. Bye.